It appears that way. And in other words, by trying to deny something, you're really affirming it. Yeah? You can't escape the dualistic movement of mind. Yeah? Affirmation is denial, denial is affirmation. It goes same and same. So, I don't know, I spent a lot of time trying to get out of what I wasn't in. At first it was, when I had 2 family members die when I was young. My grandmother was very close to us. She lived with us. And my father. And man, from that point on, I wanted to get out. It was overwhelming to me. So the first thing I was doing was reading science fiction books and trying to escape that way. Then that progressed into finding alcohol and drugs. I got caught in that pretty deeply. Then I tried to apply spirituality to try to get out of it. Yeah? And then it's just the whole point, why didn't any of them work? And I'll tell you, I would match my devotion to drugs with any spiritual devotee in the history of spirituality. The monkey god, Hanuman, all those, I'm right up there with them. I gave everything over to that addiction. I prostituted myself. I lived for that and that alone. I was unwavering in my commitment to it. Every day. Every day, every day. Yeah? And yet, with all that effort, shooting drugs up and tons of stuff that were sending me out into other worlds, I always seemed to come back here. I couldn't get out, and I'm wondering why. In spirituality, I couldn't get out. Couldn't get out by all these methods because you're not in. It's not that you failed in the mission. The mission is the failure. The mission to get out is being in. Yeah. Letting it really sink in how in you are in here is out. Yeah. All the things you're trying to push away or deny or try to work on, all these subtle ways of trying to change something, one way or another, is affirmation of its existence, of its reality. So how can you be working against it when you're working for it? Yeah? It looks like we're trying to move away, but we're not. We're in its sphere. There's no escape. Like if you look at animals, you can tell a predator and a prey pretty easily. The prey usually gets attacked by the predator, and the predator rips its neck out, let's say, and it's okay. It's obvious, the distinction. But in the movement of mind, the selfing, or the idea of self, the trying to move away from that, that's how self has you. Yeah? The idea of being a self has you by trying to get out of it. It doesn't have you when you surrender and admit to yourself that, I am a fucking loser, I am a very evil person, or whatever you've been thinking about yourself all these fucking years. You finally let it sit and land, finally. If not, it's like vultures circling, When you finally let it land, it breaks down, it's not comfortable, to really let it in that you are a loser, or you really do hurt people in the pursuit of what you want. But it doesn't end there, it leads to, I'm not that. Yeah? Then you can be really truly accountable for all the activities you've done. You can make amends for them because you're not, in a sense, responsible for them. Yeah. But while you're thinking you're overly responsible, there's a lot of things I don't want to admit. I don't want to show up and lose my face by telling you, hey, while you were out, I stole your silverware and sold it to get loaded, My whole life about getting loaded was to avoid those moments of confronting people and the things I did. When I got sober, that was part of my solution. And I went up to people, and some of them surprised me. I remember this one time I was there with this woman I was trying to impress, this girl, and my friend who I was trying to impress. I was just been in AA for a year or two, and we were going up the stairs to his apartment, and this woman was going down, and she had paint on her pants, and then she said hello to us, and then my friend went down to look at his motorcycle, and he came back up, and he says, hey, my neighbor wants to talk to you, and I thought he had told her I'm a house painter, and she wanted some professional advice, So she comes into his apartment, and she says, hello, Paul, and I didn't know her from hole and all, And she says, don't you remember me? I said, no. She says, you owe me $500. And I had ripped her off. She had lost a lot of weight. I didn't recognize her. I told her when she moved into this apartment I had that she had to pay deposit, and I spent the money. I deposited it right into my pocket. Actually, my arm, basically. Yeah? And so, one of many things I'd done. But here it came back. She walked in, and my pants were pulled down. Hey, you owe me $500. Now, I had been introduced to the idea that I was powerless over alcohol and drugs. And I got it. I mean, that my mind had entertained that, and I had gotten it. Yeah? So I realized that what I did to her, I would have done to anybody, unless she could have physically stopped me. So no guilt and shame came up. I just looked at her in the face, and I said, okay, I'm going to pay you. Yeah? And I told her the only reason why you're going to get paid is that I'm in AA. But none of the baggage that would usually come up came up. Because I had gotten the principle that AA had offered me, that I was powerless over alcohol and drugs. So when I'm on them, I'm apt to do anything. It's like dancing with a gorilla. I'm going to stop when it wants to stop. I don't call the shots. And I got it, and you know what? Because I got it, when the situation was totally right to produce a lot of guilt and shame arose, it didn't. Because that field wasn't fertile anymore. Yeah? It had been seen through. I wasn't beholden to that fucking assumption that I had done those things. So therefore I could show up and make amends for them. If I believed I had done them, I would have been still skirting the issues. I wouldn't have wanted to make any amends. I would have made some fucking story up and probably split. Yeah? So in my case, how I'm responsible here is to realize I'm not responsible. That's what brings about an accountability. When I'm feeling overly responsible, I'm avoiding like the plague, anything. You know? If I feel like I fucked somebody, I'll just never go in that, I won't go to that town again. You know what I mean? Your life just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. You know, trying to compensate and cohabitate this incredible, voracious system of thought, like a parasitical system, that wants every drop of your attention and interest. It doesn't want a little bit of it, it wants all of it. Self-centeredness is a parasitical movement. It doesn't have a life, so it claims what's happening through you. Yeah? It can't build a life because there's nowhere to begin. It has to suck on yours. Yeah? And for me, the original addiction is the mind, the conditional mind's addiction to the idea of being a self. Yeah. That's it. In Buddhism, they say it's self-cherishing. So cherishing is a great word because it sounds like you really have a nice flavor for something. It's not like something is imposed on you that you would love to get rid of, but you're cherishing it. Yeah? I mean, you're petting it, you know, you're cultivating it. There's a sort of weird love for it, yeah? So the mind makes something up, and it loves what it made up, and it doesn't want to give up the ghost. So it's trying to hold out to be special and to be right, and usually end up be alone. Yeah? But be right about it. That's the very important thing. It wants to be right. And like we shared last night, if your mind gets to be right by being wrong, you're really going to be wrong. You are really going to be wrong here. Because it wants to be right at all costs. Yeah? So, this is just about, I mean, I try to trim the tree. I try to go over every leaf. I try to bend it in a different direction with like different crutches, to, you know, not to be bent by the winds of what's happening, but to sort of cultivate it in my direction. None of it worked. It was seeing that I'm not that. That was what worked for me. Yeah? Because when you see that what you're not, at one of those points where you're seeing that, the emphasis will shift to the seeing. You won't be concerned so much about what you're not. Yeah? Because you're not that. The concern will go to another aspect of that event, which is the seeing. You'll sense yourself not as a mental noun, which is made up, but a living verb, a being, you know? A no-thingness manifesting and expressing itself through conscious contact here. Yeah? A life from immanence to potential to manifestation. You'll sense it. Okay? Now maybe you'll get sucked back into the habit of selfing, but after you have that sense, I'm pretty damn sure you're going to have more samples of it. And all it takes is one where the recalibration sets. The emphasis is off of what you're seeing and is on the seeing. Yeah? Once your attention and interest lands there, it really recognizes it as your source. It doesn't recognize a mental idea as your source. It doesn't. That's why it's flitting, and you constantly have to keep it going to these thought systems, thought after thought after thought, trying to capture its attention. Yeah? But when it attends to what you are, it tends to rest there. Yeah? You have plenty of attention to deal with a day. Yet a lot of your attention can be resting. Yeah? Resting in, or abiding in that truth, if you want to call it. Yeah? So you're never exhausted because you're not spending everything all day. You've put it into a very good bank, which is constantly renewing it. Yeah? Yeah? So you're almost like drinking from an unquenchable source. You know, you can never drink it all up. So you're in a very reliant situation. You're very supported. Yeah. So if the appearance or the let's say the mistake appears quite a lot, the solution to it is always appearing. Yeah. So at every moment you're being fooled by a form of looking, the seeing is right there. I mean, I can't see that as anything but love, really. Even a perceived mistake, the solution to it is always available at all times. While you're actually entertaining the problem, the solution is right there. You don't even have to entertain the solution. Just to tell the truth about the problem. The solution is so evident, it's not even a solution. It's just so available. There's nowhere else you fall. It's sort of like here. In selfing, you get caught up in selfing is like a product, right? The feeling of being a self. It is. It's been so long that the product gets the sense of being historical, that it's before its production, but it's not before its production. Selfing is a process that produces this sense of self. Yeah? So the product of the production line can never be before the production line. Yeah? It comes after the production line. So you weren't in that state when you were a baby, or the babiness was occurring for quite a while. So something happened, a mental process started to occur called selfing that produced the feeling of being a self. Yeah? So what's produced has to come after what's producing it. Yeah? In a sense, yeah? But when it's produced, it has a historical feeling that you're before what produced it. So the selfing that produced it, you believe you're the one that's doing it. Yeah? This is called the product of selfing. That's the whole dilemma. And it doesn't have any, though we believe in time, it has no belief in time. So it produces a historical feeling after at the end of the producing, and you feel like you're before the production. Yeah? That's selfing. So when something's happening and you're having conscious contact, in the gaps where that's not happening, you believe you're still there. Where you cannot come before conscious contact. The feeling of being you is after the conscious contact, yeah? Conscious contact is occurring, then mental interpretation is secondary. What the mental interpretations produces is something that seems to precede the conscious contact. So you feel you're the one who's conscious, and therefore you fall under the spell that you can be unconscious. And that's what starts giving tons of meaning to consciousness. You make it into a something that has a quality that it can be more or lacking, where it's not a state anymore. You're not seeing that all there is consciousness. You believe you can be more conscious or less conscious. Yes? That's after the acquiring of consciousness as you're the one doing it. If you don't buy into that, you'll realize all there is consciousness. Therefore, it won't be on you to become more conscious because you can't be less conscious, in fact. Yeah? Because there's always availability of consciousness. Yes? But If you recognize it after the heist, then you're going to see it as something that you have to get some more of. And make sure you don't lose any that you have. So again, you're working from two-ness to try to get to oneness. And oneness can't exist without two-ness, so you don't even want to get to oneness. You just want to go to zero-ness, in a sense. And the fact is, you never left zero-ness. Yeah? So here, in selfing, it creates a game board, and most people wake up to the idea of being themselves. That's like square number 5. The selfing has already produced its product, and you're feeling like you're a self. Yeah? So you're way at the end of the line. So you're at square number 5, and and then of course, if you feel really bad, you're at square number 9, let's say, or if you're really, really fucked, you're square 15. But anytime there's a giving up the ghost of square number 5, what hits you? Square 0. Yeah. If you give up the ghost of being at square 15, what hits you? Square 0. Square 23, if you drop the pretense of square 23, what hits you? Immediately. No time involved. Square 0. After a while, you realize there's only square 0. All the other squares are mentally made up. Yeah? I never left square 0. The game board is just that, a game board, with a piece that goes on it. So for the boot of a Monopoly game, to expect to transcend the Monopoly game is ridiculous because it's part of the game. It's not like an independent boot that has been thrown onto a Monopoly board. It's part of the whole game. The pieces are part of the game. Without the pieces, there isn't a game. So you're not stuck in a game. This is a piece of the game. Yeah? The action figure is a participant. This is how mind is experiencing this place. Yeah? It sets game boards. But the thing is, if you realize that every time you let go, you never left square 0, then you don't get it. How many more experiences do you need? Get it. Like, expand on the principle. Square 5, square 0, square 50, square 0. Do I have to go to 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Do I have to go through every? Maybe that's the case. It's all right. It's a finite board. Or maybe just getting one square. I know this is true, and then boom, you're at square 0. You know what I mean? I'm so positive this is square 12, and this one is real, boom, square 0. Maybe you'll give up the ghost, yeah? And now you go to square 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but square 0 is the overriding atmosphere, so to speak. Yeah? You take yourself less seriously, and all the moves on the board less seriously. Yeah? It's the greatest advantage about the game that's not from the game. It's the greatest advantage about the game, but you can't get it from the game. Yeah? It has to come from another place. Mm-hmm. Or no place, really. I need an anchor now. The energy is very strong. That's what I don't like about these long days either. It gets a little too high in a way. I used to love to try to get high. Now it's the last place I want to go. I like the dog shit awareness to stay right exactly where I am. Yeah, because I'm not here. That's great news. Yes. Bring you down. You're gonna bring me down. Yeah, I count on you for that. Yeah.
I'm wondering, where does personality fit into all this? Like how, obviously, all the speakers have different personalities. They seem to have retained their personality intact. Like, what is the connection with
where does the personality have to go if it ain't you?
Well, is it like attached to the body or something? Like,
oh yeah, the brain and the body. Sure.
It's just brain, is it? It's just a bunch of signals?
Yeah, I'd say so.
And its personality does seem to be attached to time. It has a history.
Well, if it's from the brain and the body, it's attached to time. Yeah. There would be no sense of a body unless there was time. Yeah. There would be no sense of a self because it's a mental process which takes time. Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, our whole thought system is drenched in time. The idea of time. Yeah? It's part of the mental's dreaming here. Time has a huge, huge influence. That's why many people can't rest, because they're being whipped by the idea of time. They've got to improve, they've got to accrue value, they've got to keep going, they've got to keep doing this. Time has this incredible overriding influence on the mind. Yeah? You finally work hard enough to relax, you can't relax. Because time's demanding your attention. What am I going to do when I get back to work on Monday? Stuff like that, yeah? It's like a whip. You don't see it as a form of slavery. You get just getting whipped. You're always in an agitated state. You can't even rest. You buy the greatest bed like a Tempur-Pedic and you're still tossing around. You can get 10 massages in a row and your mind is still tight as a coiled, spring. Yeah? It's selfing contracts. Yeah? It contracts. That's its movement. Yeah? Now it moves in and out like this, but its basic theme is contraction. So you have a little movement, this and that, yeah? But its basic inclination is contract. Yeah? It contracts. So instead of being diffuse and being aware of space, you become so one-pointed. Yeah? If you ever, when you were a kid, you looked at bugs, remember you'd get a magnifying glass? Yeah. Because you weren't that wise, you'd be looking at the bug, but the sun was on your shoulder, over your shoulder, and you'd burn the bug alive, and all you wanted to do was check it out. Yeah? Mm-hmm. It couldn't take that magnification of the light. Well, that's what self-centeredness is. Mind is best diffused, entertaining, open, free-ranging. When it gets concentrated, too concentrated, yes, it magnifies. And if it's concentrated on one fucking idea, that you're a long-lasting, independent, separate entity, it can create an incredible neuroses here. People's minds are eating themselves. They're so consumed with themselves, they're spawning neuroses after neuroses after neuroses. They can't keep naming them. They're spinning them out so fast. Yeah? It's just way too much power being directed on an imaginary point. When mind works best when it's open and diffuse. That's why the space is no-thingness. When you're seeing in no-thingness, you never alight upon a thing. Your focus never gets because you're seeing no-thingness. It's all diffuse. It's all very, very wide open, and it never stops because you never run into a thing. It's never interrupted where you have an experience. You don't experience anything in there. It's just onward and onward. Seeing. Yeah? Never hitting a point where it gets its attention stopped to notice that point. There's nothing there. The ride is the seeing. It's not what's being seen, it's the seeing. Yeah? And when the mind, like Jesus said, when the eye be single, the body will be full of light. Yeah? We have these two eyes that are conditioned and programmed to see things. Yeah? But there is a possibility of another eye that sees no thing. That eye never blinks. That eye's never having an experience. That eye is never interrupted because it keeps seeing nothing. In other words, it's always in the verbing of an unbelievable stillness. It's never, never, never alighting on anything. That's freedom from the bondage of self. Yeah? Not everything, not every mental thing, not every sense thing, not every object thing grabs your attention. Your attention is free, at least some level of it, where while you're seeing things, and of course when you see things, then you're in a relationship, yeah? And then interaction occurs and experiences happen. What happens in seeing nothing? There is no relationships. There is no experience. There's no events. There's no time to gauge anything. There's no reference points you can use. There's no flags that put along the way. You're this close to, Idaho. None of that's there. There's just seeing. Yeah. That's happening. That's the sense of presence during your day. It's available. Because while we're being interrupted by thing upon thing upon thing, in the conditional seeing, in the mind's eye seeing, you're not interrupted at all. There's no break. There's no intermission. It's like a seamless, infinite verbing where you can't even notice that it's happening anymore. Because it's always happening. Yeah? It's the epitome of stillness. It's the movement and stillness entwined. Just like they say stillness is movement and movement is stillness. Emptiness is form, form is emptiness. Exactly. In that state, all is that. Yeah. Yeah. We're privy to it. We have the reflective ability. We're not a grasshopper. Yeah? We're not a one-celled animal. We have the reflective ability of mind to reflect infinity. Yeah? What's going to happen? Find out. See what occurs. You may be pleasantly surprised. You may travel lighter over a long period of time and a lot of different circumstances. And you'll see, Jesus Christ, by the traveling lighter, you'll come to realize what the problem was. Yeah? You will. You'll know the problem by the solution. That's what happens. You can't know the problem by the problem. You really know it by the solution. And from the solution's point of view, it's imaginary. It's an appearance. It's a form of dreaming. Yeah? That has captured our attention and interest. We got so interested in it, we forgot we're dreaming it. And now we become, for all intents and purposes, the dreamt object. And everything we've dreamt has the power to affect us now. That's what happens. So we're giving all our power away, and it's our own power that's biting us in the ass. What, you think the movie is so good? It's the audience. What you call the illusion is the audience makes the illusion. There is nothing called an illusion. That would be a thing. Yeah? It's the audience that makes the illusion. It's your believing makes it so. That's how much power that's available to us. It's done according to belief. You ever read the New Testament? Every time there was a healing, the guy would be saying, "Oh, thank you, Jesus." And he'd say, "Forget about that, bro. It's done according to your own belief. That's why it's happening. It's not done because I can heal. It's done according to your belief. As you think, so it is. As you believe, so it is." He's always pointing out. Yet he said that thought cannot add 1 cubit to your stature. Yeah? It fucking can do nothing. What's doing it all? Using the thought as the vehicle. You, the mind. The thought isn't doing a damn thing. It's the mind in giving it meaning that's doing it. Yeah? So you have the winning side while you're losing. You're aligned with the winning side while you seem to be losing. If you just give up the ghost, you'd be on the winning side. Yeah? It's the mind that's giving the meaning to things. You ever read Buddhism? You ever read how they describe that nothing, everything, they use the word empty? What do you believe they mean? The way I heard it was that there is no inherent existence in anything. Nothing is solid in and of itself. It's empty. There's nothing here, in a way, as an individual entity or object or thing that has its own generator. Yeah? It's not self-generating. Its mind is dreaming. Yeah. How does it dream? Well, simply this camera location gives everything all the meaning it has from this camera location. That camera location, a little different than this location in time and space, gives everything all the meaning it has from that position. And so we have our own subjective experience here, but the format is exact same. Millions of camera positions with one light looking through them all. So undifferentiated light looks through all these millions of camera, and it doesn't matter if there's 6 billion people on the planet, 20 billion people, 100 billion people, they'd all be seeing, because there's no quantity in the light. It's never going to run out, so to speak. It can do it with one camera location, 40 billion camera locations. As long as there's a camera there, there's going to be a dreaming. There's going to be a movie. Yes? When you die, have you seen a dead body that you used to know? Did it ever strike you that that wasn't the person you knew? It had happened to me very distinctly. I saw an Uncle Fred who was important to me in my life, and my mother took me to the funeral when I was 9, and it was an open casket, and she says, "You want to say goodbye to Uncle Fred?" I wasn't that keen on that idea, but she dragged me up there. And I looked at the body, and I said to her, I just hit me, "That ain't Uncle Fred," you know. It was obvious I had mistakenly identified him because I was mistakenly identified. I thought I was this body, and therefore I assumed that Fred was that body. But when the real Fredness was gone, it wasn't the body. The body wasn't generating that Fredness, yeah? You could take the eye out of Fred that was never going to see again and put it in a live body, and it would facilitate seeing. Yeah? So this is a camera, in a sense. This ain't the producer of the light. It conveys the light. Yeah? It conducts the light. Undifferentiated light comes in, differentiation occurs. So we see ourselves as projected as others. Yeah? You don't believe a little bit of that information wouldn't go a long way here? Of allowing you to travel lighter? I mean, you know, and isn't that the whole point? In a place that you can really be traveling heavy, isn't the value is to travel lighter? Yeah? Who wouldn't want to travel lighter here? And it does feel like traveling, right? It seems to be time, and it's broken up into days, months, years, and you never can stay at one event. It changes, and everything constantly is moving. So we're traveling, and we may not want to do that, and we may begrudge that we have to do it, but the fact is it's happening in that way. So what's the point? What would be probably the most valuable quality here, which would be the travel lighter? If you're going to necessarily be traveling, why not lighter? Yeah? So we've all tried to find ways to travel lighter, which actually just promoted more heaviness. That's the bitch about it, yeah? I was assuming I was going to become lighter, but I actually became heavier, concerning wanting to become lighter. So after a while, when I finally saw through that, I mean, when I heard this message, it was the last answer. I haven't had a new answer since, because there's no need to have one. This works just fine, yeah? It's always available at all times. The view changes, and then a vision becomes dominant, and then you just have an immunity to the self thing. You've had enough evidence, and the mind has the certainty that I'm not that. And so all of its gyrations of how it tries to present the same story in a different way to catch your attention, you don't fall for it like you used to. Yeah? Well, the mind doesn't fall for it anymore. It stays rock sure, at least a certain certainty in that resting of being not that. Then life goes on, you meet people, you don't. I get sick, or you're going to die, whatever. All this is going to come to pass. But you just travel lighter on a grand scale. And I think that's all people want, really. If they could switch, if you really had a sense of enlightenment and ease and comfort in your own skin, I bet you would take ease and comfort in your own skin. You would probably fucking want nothing to do with enlightenment, because there wouldn't be anyone there to enjoy it, like they say. You'd rather have an ease and comfort in your skin and circumstances. You really would. We may give it a glorious name, but you really just want to feel at ease, I'd say. And this lends itself to that. Yeah. And then the mind just chooses, or whatever is inclined to go as far as it wants to go with it. Yeah. Some a little is more than enough. Some want to shoot for the heavens. Who knows? You wouldn't want to concentrate this energy. It wouldn't be a good move. You would not want to harness it and try to put it and focus it on something. It's like staring at the sun. It'll just burn your retina out. It's much better diffused and spacious. It's really, even when I do the talks, if I do them for a while in one day, it just gets way too much. You know? For the body, it's like my bulb can't handle the wattage. You know? because the light gets very strong. Wow. That's why I'd rather be talking about the Yankees and everything. Keeps me locked in the mundane aspect of life. Works. Because I don't want to go anywhere now. This is the transcending point. Being here and all its ugliness and everything else and all its beauty. This is the last place I wanted to be. And it's the only place I am. Yeah. So, yeah. We may not go on that long this day because I'm going to explode maybe. One time it happened last year, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whatever. I had this huge event and my blood pressure went out the roof, Like the machine couldn't even pick it up. I had to go to the emergency room. And then I had a year journey with this energy just spiking like fucking crazy, just blowing out of my head and provoking like semi-heart attacks and everything like that. It was just a rough road, So I couldn't travel. I didn't do talks, go and do talks outside my neighborhood because it was just way too much. I couldn't, And then I even got to a point where I'd be laying down at my house and every night, the only way I could handle it was laying down. And it would just get so fucking bright that this one night I took the money I had in my room and I put it in an envelope and I stuck the bills out, so my roommates could see, and I put it on the nightstand because I didn't want to leave them a body to get rid of, I wanted to at least pay for my removal, my disposal. But I definitely there was nothing I could do. The light was building but also accelerating. It was a really weird feeling. It was like getting brighter and brighter, but also like I'm moving, like a rocket. And I just said, fuck it, I can't bear this anymore. I was just laying there. And but I woke up the next day. There was my money and I put it in. And it still happened for a while, It was just like frying me out physically and stuff. And then after about a year, it just got subdued. I went to acupuncture and I'd been going for months and it was starting to get subdued and then it got mellowed out and then I could go traveling again, But man, it was just, it's just too much. So I don't think the best, it's like you can't stare at the sun, obviously. Yeah. This is much more powerful than that. So diffusion is best, sense of presence. Now don't make it a being. Don't shrink it into a being, be it divine or not. Yeah, you'll do much better with a dispersed presence. Then you can you can see your original face. But if you ever saw your original face, it would be probably way overboard. So you get to see it dispersed and stuff. Yeah. This one guy I just saw speak in North Carolina. He said he had an awakening experience, and he was just talking about how much he suffers all the time now. And everyone was trying to get him with, but is there a you suffering, getting into is there a you? How can you have, if there's a you suffering? He says, there's just suffering. But it says it's sadness, deep sadness, and it's just there all the time. And so, you get an idea that things are going to be a rose garden. It may not be a rose garden. Yeah? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It has its own demands to certain aspects of living, like your physicality or other, your mind itself, Yeah. So don't think you're missing anything. This is probably the exact way it's best to hear it, is, just take it slow and just entertain it. Because if it came in all of a rush, it may just blow you out of the water, who knows. Yeah, so. Yeah, I had a friend who did that. I used to do talks in Australia, so this guy started trying to do talks in Australia. And I called him up and I said, you better be careful what you're doing. There may be some unintended consequences of you pursuing the seed assignments. And ended up trying to kill himself, really, just because his mind couldn't take stuff. That's not what always happens, but it can, there's a possibility. There is a weird reason why your mind wants to be distracted constantly. Because it's trying to avoid the revelation of its non-existence, for a very important point. So, don't be rushing. You better put your seatbelts on. Yeah. So, you ever hear of shamanism, right? My friend was with Carlos Castaneda, Don Juan, all that stuff. My friend studied under Carlos Castaneda for years. And their whole idea of, going into the unknown is that you've got to have a lot of juice. Yeah. If your body's frail and other things are frail, the tension of that will show itself in the weak areas. Yeah. So that's why they say, like, someone who's, let's say, schizophrenic is very close. Yeah, in a way. You know what I mean? The mind snapped, but they're close. They're not close, but their mind is in a very interesting place. We call it insanity, but there's a fine line between wisdom and insanity. Literally. So any questions today? We're going to have a great weekend. Tomorrow is going to be great. I think I should do some scriptures tomorrow, like Faith Mind. I always love going over that one. You can do it to the Tao Te Ching too, but it gets into government and everything for a while, which I don't like all so much. Yeah. No questions? Huh? Yeah?
So if you were, say tomorrow there was no talk or no nothing, you're just hanging out on your own.
That would be heaven.
Now, yeah, that would be heaven. So what kind of presence does that mental process have in your attention during the day? Like,
it's noticed.
None? Is it none, or is it just...
No, it's noticed. Everything, seeing, it doesn't have discrimination. It sees. That's its nature. It's just not amplified.
No, like you mentioned the subway and the guy, hey, right? And if you give that any attention and where that goes,
that's right? Exactly right.
That haze going on, and you're just kind of like...
It's pretty low most of the time, because again, it has a limited amount of energy, which you're the source of. So if you haven't been feeding it for a while, it weakens greatly.
Yeah.
It doesn't have its own source. There's nothing that's driving you crazy. If you were really describing the situation in a way, it's you driving yourself crazy. But it's your energy, that energy, that's been given over to this mental process. You're very interested in it. Mm-hmm. And so it uses that energy to produce its little story. Yeah. And it seems real because it's the audience that's making it seem real, not that it's such a good movie or a good take. It's actually pretty old. It's very same old. It usually runs over the same theme thousands of times. It doesn't have many new tricks, but we fall for it quite easily, most people, Mm-hmm. So I have a mental process. It's just like my heart's pumping blood. The brain has a mental process going on, which I call selfing. There's no need for it to stop. It has some value. When people call my name, I answer, Like if someone says, hey, Paul, I want to give you $1,000. Oh, yeah. Very awake, So it has its point, its purpose, yes? To navigate this place, Mm-hmm. But to become the master is a stupid position to allow it to take. Because then you're the slave. Yeah? You're enslaved to it. You can't get to sleep. You can't shut it off. It's grabbing and it's, forget it. Look at the sleeping aid business. You know how much money pharmaceuticals make? People can't even get a good night's sleep. There is so much in expression and manifestation that's coming from this one little addiction to mind, the idea of self, it's like the basis for a lot of industries here. There's an investment in this place for this to continue the way it's going. Yeah, we're in a lot of silent agreement. So pop a pill, pop a this, pop a that, do this. Yeah, distract, take off your attention, and when it's distracted, it's like it's not there. Yet it's eating away at you, your body, your weekend, all like that. It's none of the fucking solutions work, do they? If they did, they would be dismissed because they'd work once and that would be it. It doesn't work that way here. Yeah. So why do we want to go into the problem solution mill? Let's question the sense of the real problem, and then you get it's unreal. Then there's no need for a solution. Now you're out of the mix. You're not. All right, I recognize the problem, so where's the solution? You're not that consumer anymore. Yeah. Oh, here's the need. Where's the supply? Whatever. You cut off the whole system. It's not like you're not this, and then, oh please, oh great one, tell me who I am. No, you're not that, and that's that. Yeah? You can have someone tell to you blue in the face, it doesn't matter until you find out. Yeah?
It seems there's some kind of balancing act there, like I experienced a similar thing that you talked there, just about when you're really your attention's really on conscious contact, it becomes overwhelming.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you almost kind of want to let me get back into selfing for a little while because I can't take this, right? So you kind of.
Well, the thing is, there's no you involved in either of the movements. That's all. So the seeing isn't going in or out. Yeah, the seeing isn't going in getting clearer or going out of or becoming less conscious or getting conscious. There's just seeing. Yeah, that's above and beyond the fray here. That's what's reliable. Yeah? Now the movements are going to happen. There's going to be a feeling I moved this way and then I moved that way. But the seeing doesn't move. It's always just seeing, yeah? Never blinks, it's never interrupted, it didn't begin, it doesn't end. It doesn't have all the qualities that we feel we have and things have. Yeah? That's what's reliable. That is the position or the point of neutrality. You're neither this nor that. Yeah? That to me is the essence of mind. That. So, just entertain it. It will lend itself to you traveling lighter. It's not probably its point, but that's what happens here. Yeah?
Can I just qualify something that you said, or I thought I heard you say? We're lifing, or I'm lifing, but I'm not allowing it to be the master.
Yeah.
Am I putting too much into what you just said, or is that?
Well, the selfing is going on. It's a mental process. Yeah.
It's a daily process.
You're not doing it, and it's not being done to you. The feeling that you're doing it or being done to you is the product of selfing. Let's be clear about that. So the product obviously can't get out of the process because it's the process that makes the product. Yeah? So that's all. The seeing is beyond the pale in a sense. It's not in the fray. So there's just seeing. And if you take anything back at any moment in your life, the farthest back you can go is to the seeing of it. Yeah? You can't go past the seeing. You can't go past the seeing.
Yeah.
Because something would have to see to tell you that you're past the seeing. You know? So you can never you're never before the seeing.
Yeah.
You are always after the seeing, the idea of you. The action figure, your life, experiences, all of this is happening in the content, which is framed or held in the context. The content cannot leave the content and then be beyond the context. Yeah? It's defined as the content because context yeah, is the overriding space. Yeah. I'm saying, like Jesus says, you're in this world, but you're not of this world. So you're in this appearance, seemingly. There's action figure, this and that. You're in what you would call time and earth and worlds, but you're not of. You're not of time, you're not of thingness, you're not of mind, but you're in this place. Yeah? But you're not of it. The freedom from this place is to have the realization you're not of it. It's not trying to find a special way to get out of it. It's realizing you're not of it. That's the whole point. Yeah? And then the seeming inness just continues on. It has nothing to do with your agreement or not. That's its nature. It's manifesting. Yeah? But your engagement with it will change dramatically when you're not taking yourself to be that. And I'll tell you, you'll know the problem by the solution. When you get relief, the problem was you weren't relieved. That was that simple. Yeah? That you were driven and anxious and constantly caught in a stream of time where you can't enjoy each moment because you know there's going to be another one after it. Yeah? All of this, it's like being whipped along the way. You never get a break. Yeah? Even the vacations are work. Aren't they? When you go on the vacation, you're thinking about work. When you're at work, you're thinking about the vacation. You're doing, the one job never changes, thinking about things. You're thinking about vacation, thinking about work, thinking about spirituality, thinking about finance, thinking going on. It's not you thinking, but the system is constantly proliferating around things all day. Yeah? I mean, how many thoughts would it take to navigate this Saturday? Like maybe 8. You got to Richmond and Spadina. You would leave Richmond and Spadina twice, once for lunch, then you have to find yourself back here, and then leave for good at 4 o'clock, and then maybe you had to choose what to eat, or think you chose. Maybe 15 thoughts. Could have been all you needed to navigate today. Why is there 70,000 thoughts? Are there 70,000 things to think about today? You know, I mean, how many hors d'oeuvres can you have? I want 60,950 hors d'oeuvres, and then the other 50 thoughts I used for working and getting home. But I just thought about hors d'oeuvres. You know, obviously. What are they doing? The thoughts have a purpose, in a sense. They're used to point to the phantom thinker. The more the better. For you to be convinced of something that isn't so, they have to put tons of fucking lies out. Like, what's his name? Goebbels said, the bigger the lie, the more it's repeated, the better it is. Yeah? So get the biggest whopper you can ever think of, that you're a body, and then just repeat it constantly. And you don't repeat like, I'm a body, but the mind constantly. I'm the thinker, I'm the feeler, I'm the one who has the problem, I'm this, I'm that. It's always pointing to the one who has the owner, the doer, the haver. It's incessant. Yeah? It's easy to fall asleep at the wheel. It is. It's like a hellacious snowstorm, really. If you saw, and basically all the flakes are the same though in this case. The thoughts are the same. They're just the fucking same. No it is not. I was thinking about a dog and it was named Fido when I walked it 8 years ago. Now I'm thinking about a dog named Biff. It's different. No, only the nouns have changed. It's the same yapping going on. You were obsessed over one girl named Susan. Now you're obsessed over one girl named Mary. It's the same obsession. It's the same thought format, but there's and it seems different. Oh no, this is different. This is Mary. Give me a fucking break. It's a form of slavery. Can you imagine if 70,000 thoughts constantly pointing at you? All right, enough already. All right, I'm guilty. I'm the thinker. I'm sorry. Yeah? But it cannot happen. It can only appear to happen. The mind makes the final leap. Everything is just a pointer. There's nothing pointed to. The mind makes the leap that I'm that which is being pointed to. Show me where it is. Find it. Take an x-ray of your body. Where are you? Is it behind the gallbladder? You're hiding there? Or near your liver is you, so you're hiding behind there? You're an alcoholic me? There's nowhere to be found. Ask it, and no one ever shows up. It's assuming that it's you. You're already here. Question this. Are you already here? Are you the Alpha and the Omega? Were you, in every moment that you say you were in, what was prior to you, the seeing? If you're anything, you're the seeing, not what's being seen in the moment. You're the seeing of the moment, I'd say. If you want to get to it logically, how can you be the seeing in a moment? What's seeing the scene? I would say I'd rather be that, the seer of the scene, or the seeing of the scene, than what's seen. Yeah? Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? I can't go back farther than past seeing, tell you. That's as far as it's been shown to me. You know? And there's no point to want to get, there's nothing beyond it. All there is that to me. And it's just happening, and then it isn't happening. This is manifestation, so it's happening, and then it's resting. Yeah? It's always, imminence and pregnancy is already, there's not going to be a limit of things that can pop up in it. It can keep on, it's like a never-ending popcorn maker. It just pops, more appearances, more, tons and tons. Yeah. So that's it for today. I think.
you.
You have any questions? More?
Got another hour of questions.
I got one more.
All right. One more.
I mean, anybody who talks or does anything like you're doing, has a nice little trilogy or books or so why haven't you written a book yet?
I don't like books that much.
Like writing them or reading? What don't you like?
Neither now. I used to read a lot, but I don't read anymore. And I don't have any interest in it. I have a couple people have written books, have tried, but I haven't participated in it. I just can't get the interest up. To tell you the truth. I don't know why. It's not promoting my career well, but I just don't, I can't find it in me. And I don't, unless I'm moved, I don't usually move.
Everything for you is inspired action or...
I think the best medium is this, personally. A live meeting. Yeah? Then for me, I think video's good and audio's good because there's a lot of inflection of how I deliver it. Yeah? I have my own it just happens in a certain way, and I think that has value. So I think the written word is way down the line of what I value as a medium for this. I value the live meeting the most, and then it goes down if you say video, audio, and then maybe a book.
Yeah.
You have some written. You have some written on your website.
Yeah, a guy does that. He wrote a book too. 12 slap. He does these short slaps.
Oh.
They're called short slaps.
Okay.
Yeah. He's the guy.
I don't know about that, but there's something about the written word or something. One of the
Oh, is there?
subheadings in your website.
Oh, I don't know. I don't look at my website. I have nothing to do with it, really.
Oh.
All I do is download the talks.
Well, somebody
I should look at it, see what they're selling on there.
Somebody can just transcribe your talk. Somebody's getting rich.
People have tried to transcribe the talks, and they've done some of it, but they need to be edited and everything.
Yeah.
And I've attempted to do that, but then I lose interest in that too. I don't like the way it sounds when I read my own stuff. It's not mine, obviously, but I don't find it that engaging, actually. So I've lost interest in it. But I don't know, maybe it'll happen. I know that happens, People think if they write a book, they get people to come and everything, but
I'm just coming from, myself, I listen, I watch, I read. I've never come to these. This is the first time I've ever been to anything like this.
Yeah, exactly. You see, that's a lot of people.
I want the book, right? Guys like me.
Yeah, some people like print.
Yeah, some people like that, but it's nice to have them come out though, because there is a almost like a technological wall that people are isolating behind, where they see YouTubes but they never leave. There's no engagement. There's a missing. Live is good to me. Yeah, I get loved a lot while I'm here. When I'm doing,
Well, Okay, if I just say that.
I don't think you get the sense of the love that's in the room when you're reading about it or when you're even watching, if you're listening to it. Yeah, that's something that you miss in a way. When you have a real, it's not a transmission from one person to another. There's a transmission that happens in a live meeting, I feel. That's lacking in the other mediums.
Well,
That's my.
You mentioned the Course of Miracle lessons there, and I was just checking some out, and one was all about that. Everything I see is the past in the meeting, and
Yeah.
And so I'm listening to you on YouTube, and it's like 2009, and I'm like, what? Okay, that's why I came here. I'm like, that thing's 3 years old. There's nothing that's as past as it gets, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to see what is the difference in the actual reality, right?
Yeah, good. Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know.
Well, good, you'll find out. See, a lot of times when people are into that, it's best that you disappoint them. So they can be right.
Well, I want to interact with the YouTube video.
What?
Right? I want to interact
That's
with the
right.
YouTube
Well,
video.
you are. You're interacting a lot. Yeah. Well, we're happy to have you because your participation adds to the event. Yes? So when you have to remember that other people get a lot out of your participation. So when you come to a meeting, it's not all about the one who's coming. It's about the whole group and everything else. And it's thinking outside that box in a way, where you join in the we, and you get a magical thing from the we that you can't get as a you or an I. There's a lot of magic with groups in a lot of ways. I don't like when they get organized and turned into a hierarchical situation, but I like loose-knit groups like this. We have it. I come here, I'm not a believer in long days, but I have to admit it builds to a crescendo as an event, let's say tomorrow or tomorrow, and we've had some wonderful little love fests because the energy just cooks in such like a syrupy way. It's just really like molasses. It's really sticky and good. And that doesn't usually happen in an hour talk. So there are influences of time and everything in the manifestation. So I do see value in that. Yeah? Well, you spend a couple of days together, it does cook a certain way. Doesn't it? Yeah? Yeah. It's like something that was cooked for like microwave or you slow braised it or boiled it for 4 hours. It's better tasting usually, yeah? You can say they're both cooked, but one tastes a whole lot better from the process than the other one did. Yeah? Yeah, so. Well, now I've come down, which is good. I was getting worried there. Love will do that to me. Love gets me here, really. Yeah, it's good. Tanya's like an anchor. Donna, they keep me, yeah. It's very helpful to me. Because, yeah. So we'll come back tomorrow. I hope everyone show up or not. 11 o'clock, yes. On the dot, we'll be here. 11. Hey, thank you for coming, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, it's almost 4.
Great seeing you again.
Great
Really
seeing you.
appreciate that.
Oh, great.
I really did.
Line up.
Hey, honey.
Hey, oh wow. I've been watching that video for a while. Nice to be here.
Yeah, it is.
I gotta say, I love this.
Oh, yeah. Honey, it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Thank you so
It's
much.
all going well.
Yeah, okay.
That's
About a year. That's good. Good. Very nice testing.
Yeah. So you gotta explore. Yeah.
Bring us with this. This is your Christmas present.
Oh, it's a hat. It's a hat. Oh, I saw it. It came out. And it's the same kind of color.
It's the hat.
What?
It's the hat.
What is it? Oh, the hat. All right. Let me see if it's the hat.
Full circle.
I'm into hats, man.
You saw that in a secondhand store. We fought over it.
Oh yeah, I remember. Was this the one?
That's the
Oh
one.
yeah, good. Oh, so it's been worn by your lovely head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Square zero over it.
Yeah, the rightful owner of the crown. Yes.
Totally suits you, man. You should have it all day.
Are you ready for your motorcycle thing? Yeah. Where is it? Motorcycle, rub road.
First flag.
That's all they're selling, but they're selling clothing. Where is it? I used to ride it. It was good. It wasn't low end. High end. It wasn't fast. It was really high.
All right.
Where is it?
I got to take a great legal left hand turn.
So it's not like oh yeah, well, if you get a chance, come back.
Oh, okay, thank you.
But they did. He finally gave it back and told me
I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I'm from out of town.
Right. Yeah.
Before Adelaide on the east side. That's really close. It's like grilled fish.
Tell me how are you? You're a little more subdued than yesterday. Good. There's been a little bit.
I think our first, I think we're going to see
I just stumbled the bubble of the light.
make sure you get that I was going to go to, there's this, I'm a super hotel, sounds really bad. To get a massage. To get a massage. So it's better than work. Laura, I mean, the Laura Baker massage, she never asked me. Yeah.
Usually when you talk closest to somebody, you get a really, if I have some advice for my girlfriend, I'll say the same thing.
But there's
The same juice comes in, but I guess
He studied he worked he knows institute direction that he studied. So
I know the name.
anyway, go on.
Just from logistic. We did check it out. I have a pretty good reputation in that world. But I'm actually not doing it. Yeah, it's kind of yeah. But I'm actually not doing it. I'm just now I know. No, but I'm actually just doing that. Yeah. For other events, it's okay. The calls are fantastic. You know that.
Yeah, but I thought, okay, should I read?
It's good to know ahead of time. If it's a big event, then it's not good, right?
Should you take me on this break for this massage?
And then we're going to go see maybe he's dragging this movie, Watch This Spot.
Oh, the night outside, man.
It's supposed to be a 3D yeah, no, like it's not girls. No, you don't have to do it. It's mine. You guys go for coffee, I'll go there. I found $45 for that. No, there's one. I go to see a specific person. I go to a specific person. They even have bars on the ceiling. You know, like they walk on your back.
I did. That's exactly. I think it was the lucky one.
I'm just going to take care of it. My rubbish.
That's my game. Like, he has no plan. He's trying to learn that plans that you want to do. Tell him to do it. Try to get him his attention or interest. Him coming here is not like spiritual. It's like you have to get enough attention. Last year, there's this guy in the street. There's this guy. Yeah. There's a couple of people. One lady who was open and then he was arrested for like I was giving him for stuff for him. And but then they just they transcribed all that so I said, when you say that he won't go yeah, but he's done it already. They're just transcribing the talk to people who gets a different talk. So, for instance, you get 3 talks where he talks about what's not happening. And then you intertwine the 3 talks, and you might mention a little aspect of this one and this, put them together. So it's all these exact words. But just not even a ghostwriter, it's just putting that together. But it's actually all these words. Because he has to actually look at it and say, that's where it all comes from. And we're going to do some filming this time in Europe. His family, he's brought to this side afterwards. We might do something. Europe. Yeah, he's going to place it like 20 years. Yeah.
songs, so I don't know. Has he done any other speakers or just?
No, he's not.
He just loves
Many, many years
Yeah.
ago.
He's a professional photographer, and then he's just bought some video from.
And then as things became.
I called one time Harry Guy said that he bought some. He's from the wall. Yeah, one time we were gonna do. I mentioned it. I think we were gonna do. Just do it. Yeah, we just never got it. I lost my interest. That's the problem. I have more interest in him, but I don't have that much interest. No, I have my designer and my website. And I talked to her about everything, so it's just that me. So that's yeah, that's something that maybe we'll do. It's just do one and then all videos, everything, all his components are maybe needs are in there. And then my hope is if his website improves and his videos and his donations will improve. You know, the idea that spreads the teaching is also I'm getting better at the LCD now. I'm getting stuff on something. I think that's pretty certain I'm going to get next year again. But I'm going to take it. But I'm going to nail it down like further ahead of time. You know, like he looks at other websites. Yeah, I've been doing it. I never do Facebook. I never do. You're on my joint. If you're not a leader, but that's Facebook. I don't. I rarely do Facebook.
I'm gonna have one of those bars there, honey.
Oh, yeah, I only ate one. Here you go.
Oh,
Are you sure you don't want to listen to Facebook? Yeah, that's what we got.
I think it's beautiful. You do your thing.
I'm scared of my tongue. We're going to a motel to get a massage.
Are we gonna do that?
Yeah.
I want to go get a coffee. Maybe talk about
Yeah, I'll just go for an extra massage. We'd rather talk about
an extra massage. Let me use the bathroom and get ready.
You have
No
a
hurry.
really nice jacket.
No, we can go after too. Like if you want to go for coffee, go for coffee. We got a Christmas present. Oh, that's
The hat.
Is it a brand new hat or?
No, it's the hat that I pointed out to Mike the time I was here at a thrift store, and I said you can have it. So he gave it back to me.
You bought it for him.
No, I didn't buy it. I just said, hey, this is a cool hat. So he bought it.
For himself.
Yeah. He gave it back to me today. It's good a little bit. I don't remember really. I remember the color, but I don't remember.
It matches your shirt.
I don't remember it. Oh man.
We don't have to do the massage. I'm probably going to go to something. This is what I had this cold.
So we go and have a coffee? Can we do that?
Yeah, I think so. Let's just find out.
And you're late every time.
I am determined by. Hey, Rob, run me by the loose plan that we're having right now.
There's no real plan. My plan for myself was going to get a massage and going to see a movie.
Yeah.
I want to be part of that plan.
Yeah. I'll definitely support you in the movies, maybe. I don't know about the massage.
Massage, I'm telling you, $45 for an hour and a bit. It's good. You go soak our feet in like an herbal bath,
Oh, they will?
and then get an hour.
I could use my foot. My foot's hurting right there. I'll be right back. Let me just use the bathroom.
It's on Spadina. North between on the west side.
I'll be right back.
It's really good. I've had speakers stay there before as well. And people stay there. It's pretty. They can get a room for $100 or something. Like it's like the cheapest, nicest place downtown.
And they do massage.
They have like a spa type thing, but it's like they're all.
And it's a good massage. It's not just.
Oh no! I think I would go.
Who do you go to?
There's a lady named I don't even. She says her name's Funny. So I call her Funny, but
How
I
can you
don't
go
know.
to
If
massage?
Funny.
Did you say I'm
I just go. I want Funny. She's like the shortest one. So I'm like, I want Funny. They're all there, and they're like, oh, you want this one? But they have it. It's I think even during the weekday, it's for 45 minutes. It's $30. Like it's.
Try it out.
It's
good. Do it a good massage.
No, I'm telling you, you should come up. Yeah,
And we can just go and walk in.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
have to book ahead of time.
No. Well, they might not have room for you, right? But there's 3 or 4 people ongoing.
So you might not get funny.
Funny, yeah. Well, if you're going with me, you're not getting there.
Oh.
I was thinking, should I let Paul go when she's good? I'm like, screw Paul. I'm gonna get my massage for me. No, she's really like, she just, and like I gave them a $5 or $10 tip. They're like enthusiastic. I've been to other places in Chinatown. You gotta be careful where you go there, though. But you end up in that not massage places. But you're wearing a mini skirt. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, that's you, right?
No, I wasn't wearing. I was wearing lipstick. But yeah, this place, I searched for some different places because sometimes I need a massage and I can't book 2 or 3 days in advance. I have friends that do it, other part of the city. So for me, it's easier just to go there. So I've been to this lady 3 or 4 times, and it's like the cheapest. And I've been to lots of massage therapists in my life, and she's just really like a deep massage. And the walking on the back, I really find is for me because they don't just walk on the back; they massage, but with like their.
Robert, you know a guy named Jonathan that has a studio here? No. Sorry.
There's 130 businesses in this. But yeah, no. So she's like with the. Now I'm not talking about survivor. I'm talking about massage. I know, when they walk on the back, they're doing the acupressure points with their toes and their feet, but they have their whole body weight, and then they have these bars that they hold and they can adjust the weight. Yeah.
The thing is are they good?
No, I was telling them, I have this one lady I go through, her name's Funny or Funly, or I can't understand her. But I was thinking to myself, should I let Paul have her because I know she's good? And I'm like, screw Paul, I'm having her. She's the best.
So you don't know sometimes.
So, but now I'm thinking, you're talking about going for coffee.
Yeah.
Would that be a good idea? Like maybe you shouldn't have a coffee.
It's
Don't
okay.
have a massage.
You shouldn't do political activism and go to sex time. No, it's just, it doesn't matter. Richard.
Liquid isn't going to bother you that much. Decaf or maybe. I don't drink caffeine.
Oh no.
No.
Richard.
Last time you were here was on your.
I put my foot down about that. I couldn't take it anymore.
On your.
I put.